Ngayong umaga ay makakasama natin si Migrant Worker Secretary Hans Leo Cacda upang magbigay ng update sa mga Pilipinong tripulante na naipit sa gulo sa Red Sea. Magandang umaga, Secretary Hans.
Salamat, Yusek, and it's good to be here po. Unang-una, ang update natin is, of course, yung standing directive ng ating mahal na Pangulo na gawin ng lahat para magbigyan ng ganap na proteksyon ang ating mga OFWs at lalo ng ating mga marinong Pilipino at ang kanilang mga pamilya. So, bunsod nito, yung update natin sa dalawang barko na inatake sa Red Sea ng mga Houthis. At yung una ay nung linggo, inatake yung MV Magic Seas at ligtas ang 17 tripulante ng MV Magic Seas at they are slated to come home tomorrow, July 11. So we can just provide yung necessary flight details nito kung gusto ninyong at least ma-update dito sa kanilang pag-uwi sa airport. Pangalawa, and then of course, we will provide the necessary, as directed by the President, the necessary whole of government assistance sa mga nanumbalik na tripulante ng MV Magic Seas. Pangalawa, itong MV Eternity Sea na inatake nung tumatawid ang huling oras ng July 7 until the early hours, midnight ng July 8. At ito ay isang barko, ang MV Eternity Sea, isang barko, bulk carrier na galing sa Egypt at nagpatuloy sa Berbera, Somalia at patuloy sana at nag-unload ng kanyang cargo doon sa Berbera, Somalia at patuloy sana sa Jeddah, Saudi Arabia at papunta sa Jeddah, Saudi Arabia sa bandang kanluran ng Hodeidah, Yemen, 50 nautical miles ay nagkaroon ng attack ang mga Houthi forces doon sa barko. Reported na may mga iba't ibang armas, merong missile na tumama sa barko, merong mga rocket-propelled grenades na hawak ang mga Houthis at may mga skiffs, nakasakay sila sa mga skiffs o mga maliliit na barko at pinaligiran yung MV Eternity Sea. Kahapon ng umaga ay nagkaroon tayo ng pagpupulong together with the families kasi ang number 1 directive ng Pangulo sa DMW ay gawin ng lahat para mabigyan ng tulong, proteksyon, take care of the families. Ang sabi ng ating Pangulo. Kaya't kahapon, it was the second meeting actually with the families. Nagpulong na kami the day before. But kahapon ay ng umaga, nakipagpulong kami together with the manning agency at the ship owner. At ng umaga ng mga alas 8 hanggang alas 9, nalaman natin na may rescue efforts underway. Ngayon, nung bandang so binigyan daan namin ang rescue efforts, no? Bigyan ng puwang, bigyan ng panahon para maisagawa ito. Nung bandang lagpas ng tanghali ay nakatanggap na kami ng ulat na lumubog yung barko ng MV Eternity Sea at at that time kumpirmado na ito ng ating manning agent at ship owner at pati yung ating defense attaché na kaugnayan din natin sa Bahrain. Yung defense attaché naman natin sa Bahrain na kaugnay sa United Kingdom Maritime Trade Organization or UKMTO. At kumpirmado ang paglubog gawa ng matinding tama nito sa barko. Tinamaan ng engine room at ang bridge at ang communications ng barko kaya't nahirapan talaga tayo. Walang komunikasyon with the crew on board throughout this time, no? Throughout the time na nandun sila, nalaman natin na inatake sila until ito nga yung rescue mission ay sinagawa. At ang nadatnan ng rescue team doon ay merong 5 tripulante in the water, kaya't sila ay naligtas. Ngayon, ang MV Eternity Sea has 22 seafarers, 21 Filipino seafarers with the captain, no? So 21 lahat, ang kapitan ay Pinoy, at yung isa ay foreign national. So 22. Ngayon, with the rescue of the 5 ay 16. 16 sa ngayon, ang inaantabayanan pa rin natin kung anong kinaratnan. Meron pa ring search operation as far as we know, at patuloy ang paghahanap sa kanila. Bukod sa 5, merong isang nahanap na Indian Armed Guard. So 6, 5 Filipino seafarers and 1 Indian Armed Guard. At yung 5 na sagip na tripulante ay papunta ngayon sa isang destinasyon na hindi ko babanggitin for security reasons. Hindi ko rin babanggitin kung paano sila makakarating doon at gaano katagal. Again, for security reasons, pagpasensyahan nyo na. But rest assured, once there will be an opportunity to get in touch with them, we will, of course, do all we can to provide the necessary assistance, and starting with medical and physical and mental health assistance that we could provide to them. And of course, to find out some details about what happened, particularly yung kinaratnan nung 16, at yung mga napapaulat sa international media na 4 na nasawi. Sa ngayon, meron kaming impormasyon ng 3 nasawi through the UK MTO, pero again, this 2 is subject to confirmation. Kaya't mahalagang makausap namin ang mga 5 tripulante, pero syempre bibigyan pa natin na sila ng espasyo o puwang, no? Ayaw naman natin silang madaliin o biglang questionin ng mga detalye. So when they arrive at their destination, we will make sure that they go through the necessary protocols, medical protocols, and of course, time to rest and give them the adequate basic needs before we ask them. So there will be give and take some adequate time that is necessary bago natin sila makadaw palad at makausap. Lastly, we have already commenced our personal visits to the families kasi itong last 2 days, virtual ang aming meetings with all of the families. Rest assured, we have touched base with all the families. We know them to the extent that we know their personal circumstances, and we have engaged them in communications. And as of last night, we have started our personal visits to each of the families and have assured them of the President's directive to take care of them at gawin ng lahat hanggang sa makakatulong kami ng ganap sa kanila. So that's it.
Thank you, Secretary Hans. We can now take questions. Tristan Nodalo, Newswatch Plus.
Hi, sir. Good morning po. Sir, yung bali po sa 5 yung na-rescue, 16 yung unaccounted for, pero 3 po, may reported na 3 na fatality. Pero hindi pa po.
Kino-confirm pa natin ito. It is just the information that we know from the UK MTO through our defense attaché.
Sino, sir, ang nakikipagtulungan sa Pilipinas, or at least have we tapped any other country to help us in the search and rescue operations dito po sa mga seafarer?
Sa ngayon, ang nagsasagawa ng rescue operations is the Maritime Security Team that had been engaged by the ship owner. Of course, we know that we have tapped the UK MTO and other international naval forces to help us monitor the situation.
Last na lang po on my part. May liability din po ba tayong tinitignan doon sa ship owner? Kasi alam ko may memorandum na rin po ang DMW na wag sana nga bumiyahe na sa Red Sea.
Yes, we're not happy, of course, with the way things turned out in terms of pinabiyahe yung mga tripulante sa high-risk zone. Currently, suspendido ang license manning agency at ang principal nito bilang paunang pagpataw natin ng regulatory measure, but there will be an investigation to take place. Napakahigpit ng ating regulatory requirements, reportorial requirements, prior to boarding any Filipino seafarer to any ship that will traverse the Red Sea or Gulf of Aden, meron pang kailangang isubmit na risk assessment, meron pang requirement ng armed guard at maritime security escort, and our initial investigation reveals that these were all not observed. At hindi lamang yun, 2 beses nag-traverse sa Red Sea. Kasi kung titrace mo yung rota niya ng Egypt to Somalia, that's one, okay? That's one turn or one crossing across the Red Sea. And then bumalik ng Jeddah, so a second one. So at least 2 counts of violations of our rules and regulations. But again, the most important thing at this stage would be the rescue of our seafarers, and this must be undertaken immediately, as soon as possible.
Lay Pardilla, People's Television.
Good morning po, Secretary. Secretary, aside from the suspension, what other sanctions could the vessel owner may face po?
Well, we will get to the point where we will consider other possible legal action. Of course, what I've been referring to are the administrative cases, administrative remedies that we have. But of course, we will look at other types of remedies that are available, civil and criminal remedies. But again, that will be saved for another day. Sa ngayon, mamarapatin muna nating bigyan ng puwang o espasyo yung pagligtas sa ating mga tripulante.
Sir, one last follow-up. Based po on the initial information, kumusta po yung kalusugan, health condition ng 5, and when does the government plan to bring them home?
Yeah, tinanong namin ito kahapon dun sa aming sa ship owner na at dun sa maritime security firm, at ang sagot nila, they are in good condition. None of them have serious physical injury or illness. Of course, it's safe to say they may have some physical stress with what they went through. But anyway, as I said, there will be medical protocols, that will be given to them. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, medyo wag nating madaliin yung panahon na tatanungin pa natin sila, kasi 'di ba kung ano nangyari. Wag nating madaliin masyado yung part na yon, kasi once they are given the proper treatment on shore, then there will be protocols that will have to be let's give them time and space with the protocols that have to be undertaken.
Maricel Halili, News 5.
Sir, magandang umaga po. Just one quick follow-up lang, sir. Ano po yung nakarating sa inyo na information about the chances of survival doon sa mga hinahanap pa na mga tripulanteng Pinoy, considering the challenges dun sa rescue efforts?
Well, we are fully aware of the at least 2 statements that have come out. The first, of course, is the Houthi statement that they have several, quote-unquote, of the Eternity Sea crew. And second is the statement of the United States that they denounced this particular action of taking in the crew and as a kidnapping action. But in either case, we are still yet to confirm for ourselves whether indeed the Houthis have the rest of the crew. So this is something that is yet subject to confirmation, and we're working closely with the SecTes, Lazaro, and the DFA along these lines.
Eden Santos, Net 25.
Good morning po, Sec. Ito pong pangyayari na ito, hindi naman po siya magiging reason para po magpatupad tayo ng pansamantalang ipagbawal muna yung pagbiyahe ng ating mga Pinoy seafarers, especially po dun sa mga delikadong ruta.
Well, sa ngayon, naghihigpit na kasi tayo in the sense that February 2024, in the sense that mayroong regulatory measures, yung binanggit ko kanina. One is all ship owners are asked or should divert their ships away from the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. And in fairness, more than 50%. Many flags have already diverted their voyages, and we're thankful to these flags. However, there are those who still choose to traverse the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, and minsan kasi ang nature ng seafaring is maaring pag-alis sa Pilipinas ng tripulante, hindi Red Sea ang pupuntahan. But it may happen that their port of call is let's say their voyage is let's say less than 2 or 3 months, still within a 9-month contract. And dun, after the 2 or 3 months, in another port of call, malalaman nilang pupunta pala ng Red Sea. So sa sitwasyon na ganito, again, reportorial requirement, risk assessments, i-report dapat ng ship owner at ng manning agent na may ganun silang isasakay na mga tripulante papuntang Red Sea. Risk assessment reports, evaluations that they need to submit, armed guards on board, maritime escorts on board. We are so strict in terms of compliance with these requirements, kaya yun pa rin talaga ang pinanghahawakan natin ngayon. And of course, yung right to refuse sailing. If there is a freedom to navigate on the part of ship owners, there is a corresponding right to refuse sailing on the part of seafarers. Sa DMW, pinadali na natin, nag-issue tayo ng department order, pinadali na natin yung to exercise ng right na yan. One is in writing, may form, downloadable, dapat ibigay ng mga manning agencies sa mga tripulante. Kung hindi ibigay, offense yun. Second is verbal. Pwedeng may mga hotlines na nakaprescribe dun sa department order. Tatawag lang yung mga tripulante natin or email. Pwede nilang gawin ito on their own without going through the manning agent kasi nga baka may konting takot sila. And then when they exercise the right to refuse sailing, they are entitled 2 months compensation and free repatriation and no discrimination. Sabihin, hindi sila mamamarkahan o ma-blacklist o ano pa man. And in fact, we know of cases, higit kumulang mga 300 ang nag-exercise ng right to refuse sailing sa nakaraan. And we know for sure na hindi sila blacklist o nadi-discriminate. Ibig sabihin, nare-reassign sila sa ibang lugar.
A quick follow-up lang po. Were you informed po ang DMW na dadaan pala po yung barko sa Red Sea?
Etong barko na ito?
Opo.
Initial findings, hindi. And as I said, they did it twice in one voyage, which is the first time I've seen that happen. So, yun, on 2 counts, meron ng paglabag. But again, there will be a more formal investigation. Kaya sinuspend namin kagad because of this. But there will be a more formal investigation that could, if found liable, possibly mete out a more permanent penalty.
Last question, Alvin Baltazar, Radio Pilipinas.
Secretary, good morning po. Secretary, just to give us an idea, gaano ba ka-risky yung ruta ng Gulf of Aden saka Red Sea?
Well, mula nung ang huling malubhang kaso natin dito was June 2024. We have had, of course, the 17 hostage seafarers na nakalaya nung early this year, nung Enero, but that case began with an abduction in November 2023. We have had another set of serious cases, 4 ang nasawi. June 2024 was the last serious case, and we have not seen any harm inflicted upon our seafarers since that time. So I could very well say that the regulatory measures were working up to the point of these 2. We have observed na we are at least seeking the help of political and security experts, DFA and the DND, as to analyze or tell us kung gaano kaiba o kalabha itong bagong metodo ng pag-atake. Of course, we know na may mga skiffs, may mga RPGs, may ballistic missiles, but we want to know the intensity and the tenor of the Houthi side with respect to these particular attacks. The reason why I'm bringing this out is because magiging related yan sa pagpataw natin ng mas mahigpit pang measures. So we will have to discuss this over with DFA and DND.
Secretary, one last question on my part. Sabi nyo, may directive si Pangulong Marcos na ibigay yung assistance doon sa mga pamilya. Specifically, ano yung mga form of assistance na...
Well, sa ngayon, the most important and immediate from them, at least yung kanilang sinasabi sa amin, is yung rescue, yung safety. Understandably, di ba? At this stage, yung safety and kanilang pag-rescue would be first and foremost. There will be a proper time to provide all the necessary, at nasabi na rin namin sa kanila to, there will be a proper time to provide all the necessary assistance that we can provide. Financial, humanitarian assistance, medical and psychosocial counseling, and other forms of assistance that we provide through the whole of government interagency effort na inatasan ng Pangulo. DOH, DSWD, TESDA, and of course the DFA is there.
Yusek Claire.
Thank you, Sec Hans.
Maraming salamat.